In opening the summit, ECOWAS chairman and host, President Alassane Ouattara, who was rounding off his first term in office, reviewed political, economic and social developments in the region in 2012 during his tenure. He said the 42nd summit provided a platform to review and give impetus to regional integration, peace and security.
Grâce à votre soutien et à celui de la communauté internationale, nous avons pu rétablir la normalité constitutionnelle.
Thanks to your efforts and that of the international community, we have been able to restore constitutional normality in these two countries through this process of political transition that is still under execution. The result, which will soon manifest in the coming month, is the organization of credible and transparent presidential election and legislative election and the return of democracy in these two countries, Mali and Guinea-Bissau. The lessons learned from the crisis in Mali and Guinea-Bissau was the height of the various sacrifices made first by people of these countries.
Neighbors and friends of West Africa spoke up in support of the region. President Idriss Deby of Chad addressed the summit, acknowledging the loss of some members of Chad's military contingent in Mali, but reiterated commitment to the total liberation of that country.
Je voudrais m'adresser aux autorités de transition, aux leaders politiques, à la société civile et aux soldats.
I would like to address the leaders of the transition, political leaders and civil society to embrace the power of dialogue and conditions for national reconciliation. For my brother Diokonde Traoré, I would like to give you our support. It's a matter of choosing to put down arms. To you, my brothers, the Malian military, your place is in front to finish your rightful mission. That is to say, the defense of the sovereignty and integrity of Mali, both in the north and in the borders with Algeria.
Prime Minister of Morocco, Abdelilal Ben Kirawi, delivered a message of solidarity with the region from King Mohammed VI. He commended ECOWAS initiatives and mobilization, which culminated in the United Nations Resolution 2085 on Mali that is now being implemented by France and AFISMA forces. King Mohammed urged ECOWAS to pursue the post-conflict stage in Mali in the areas of mediation, facilitation, protection and stabilization, while seeking a change in the status of AFISMA to a UN peacekeeping operation.
La CEDEAO ne pourra objectivement accomplir cette mission historique sans un soutien.
Needless to say, ECOWAS cannot carry out this historic mission without significant and appropriate political, financial and logistical support. In this regard, the Kingdom of Morocco will continue to fulfill its obligations both at bilateral level as part of a solidarity-based vision and at the international level as a partner for peace and security in the region.
The African Union and the United Nations were also deeply concerned about the political crisis in Guinea-Bissau and the conflict in Mali. Ambassador Said Djinnit, representative of the UN Secretary-General in West Africa, alluded to the fact that the UN has been considering proposals for the conversion of AFISMA to a UN peacekeeping force.
Président Diokonde Traoré a écrit au secrétaire général des Nations Unies.
President Diokonde Traoré wrote to the United Nations Secretary General to ask him to support the accelerated deployment of AFISMA in line with the Resolution 2085 and put in motion the transition to a United Nations peacekeeping operation. In response to that letter, the Secretariat of the United Nations started by developing the analysis and conditions within which the organization could bring the said force to deploy. The event of these last days, marked by the destabilization of the armed terrorists and the joint action of the standby force, shows the will of Mali's neighboring countries and the sub-region to contain, reduce and neutralize the menace of terrorist groups. In this regard, I commend the adoption of the sub-regional strategy for the fight against terrorism by the Security and Mediation Council of 25th February that offers political solution to ECOWAS member states to this important and sensitive issue.
President of the ECOWAS Commission, Ambassador Kadri Desire Ouedraogo, stressed how critical peace, security and stability are to the development of the region.
C'est cet esprit de solidarité qui doit aussi guider notre démarche pour le retour total de l'ordre.
It is in the spirit of solidarity that should also guide our actions and move to the complete and total return of a constitutional order in Guinea-Bissau. It is evident with the expiration of the transition period as it was fixed for Mali and Guinea-Bissau. The pending elections in the course of the year are therefore important for the definitive concretization of our return to constitutional order. In the same vein, we will not lose sight of the majority interest represented in the electoral processes in Togo and in Guinea, but not only for the consolidation of internal democratic governance of the countries, but also for the stability of our region. I would like to formulate the thought that all the elections that will take place in the course of the year, notably in Mali and Guinea-Bissau, in Guinea and in Togo, should be done in a peaceful atmosphere. I would like to call on all the respective bodies, even those stipulated in the ECOWAS protocol and on democracy and good governance, that it's in this respect that we guarantee free elections and credible elections full of hope and stability.
Behind closed doors, the leaders over 2 days considered the 2012 annual report of the ECOWAS Commission President, which comprehensively accounted for what ECOWAS has done in all sectors. The report, under the theme Political Stability and Regional Integration, gave the heads of state a vivid picture of the state of the West African region politically, economically and socially, as well as the status of community programs and projects. The heads of state also deliberated on reports of the Mediation and Security Council on Mali and Guinea and got further briefings on the situation from the mediators as well as the ECOWAS Commission President. Outside these, the heads of state considered the report of the ECOWAS Council of Ministers, which directly oversees the activities of the Commission. The long agenda of the summit also included critical issues such as the expansion of the Commission and the presentations on support for energy programs in Niger Republic, the Gambia, Mali and Sierra Leone. On the sidelines of the summit, the heads of state took another issue that has been of primary concern to them, the campaign to eliminate malaria, which has been the greatest health obstacle to the development of West Africa. Another phase in the campaign was launched with unveiling of the plaque for the construction of a factory to produce larvicides in Côte d'Ivoire. President Ouattara was joined by the ambassadors of Cuba and Venezuela, who are partnering with ECOWAS on the project. ECOWAS Commission President Kadri Desiré Ouedraogo said under the agreement 3 factories are to be sited in Côte d'Ivoire, Ghana and Nigeria to produce biolarvicides for the region to strengthen the vector control component of the multisectoral malaria elimination strategy.
Le sommet réaffirme sa détermination à faire de l'élimination du paludisme.
The summit reaffirmed its determination to eliminate malaria, an important feat in the quest to achieve the Millennium Development Goals. In this regard, the conference underlined the importance of a multi-sectorial strategy, notably articulated around the vector control fight against malaria and sensitization. The summit employed the Commission to pursue efforts in this domain and invites member states to reinforce efforts in this area in the national programs.
The 42nd Ordinary Summit was quite intensive, and this reflected in the far-reaching decisions taken by the leaders as contained in the 57-point communique they produced and signed at the end. ECOWAS Commission President Kadri Desiré Ouedraogo presented the communique, which highlighted the leaders' concern with the political, economic and social development of the region. They considered the economic performance of the region in 2012 encouraging and reiterated their firm commitment to its development through the acceleration of the integration process, including the implementation of sectoral programs. To consolidate on this and reduce poverty, they approved measures to deepen structural